Recapping our top story, the CRTC has delivered its decision on Sun News Network's bid to be made available to all Canadians. The broadcast regulator denied all but 3 bids for mandatory carriage, including Sun News. However, the CRTC accepts the need to level the playing field and make national news services accessible to all Canadians coast to coast. The Commission called for public feedback on a new framework for Canadian news. It demands cable companies offer all Canadian national news services. Distributors must place Canadian news services in close proximity in their channel lineup, and national news channels must be available in a package and on a standalone basis. CRTC is looking for public comments until September 9th. A ruling is expected at the end of this year. With more on this, I'm pleased to be joined now by the Senior Vice President of Sun News, Kory Teneycke. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Neha. Happy to be with you.
So this is a big day for Sun News. We have this ruling, and if you look at a lot of the news headlines, they simply focus on the fact that Sun News was denied mandatory carriage, but that does not tell the whole story. So tell us more about what this ruling means for the future of Sun News.
Well, we've always been very practical in our approach in these things. It doesn't matter the particular mechanism that the CRTC uses. What matters is what is the outcome, what is the result, and is Sun News available to all Canadians and on a more equitable basis to both its Canadian competitors who are incumbents, but also foreign news services. And so while we didn't get the 91H designation, the mandatory carriage license, the CRTC has certainly absorbed many of the arguments that we've made, and they're reflected in this new framework that they've put out for consultation. So it's a very fast process that they're proposing by their standards to get comment on this new framework, and we'll be participating in that. And we'll see what the outcome is. But clearly we're disappointed that we didn't get 91H, but there is a pretty significant silver lining that around the arguments that they accepted.
Yeah, absolutely. A very big silver lining, but they say that they want to make a decision on this swiftly. So can you help us understand the process when we look at this new framework for all news channels? What happens next?
Well, there'll be a consultation process where Canadians can give their input. There'll be an opportunity for ourselves and other people who are involved in this industry, both cable distributors and channels, to give their point of view. The CRTC then reflects upon those comments and makes a decision. So it's a fairly straightforward process, and we hope it'll be a fast one, because this for us has been going on for almost 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been a very long process for us. I do have to mention that we want to thank all of the people that our viewers, our supporters who wrote into the CRTC, because they can still play a big part in this, can't they?
Yeah, that's correct. This public consultation is an opportunity for them to have a voice in the system, and certainly fans of this network and others out in Canada have certainly took the opportunity in the last process to have their voices be heard. I think that is in part why we're seeing many of these proposals coming forward, because clearly there is a desire by Canadians to have a more equitable system. So we'll be calling on all the friends of the network again to get involved in this next stage of this ongoing saga.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the next chapter in it. There are those commentators out there, though, who have said that if Sun News did not get the 91H order, the lights would be off here. What do you say to them?
Well, we're I guess, involved in a new process that wasn't anticipated at the time those comments were made. So, as I say, it's not about a particular mechanism. There are many ways to skin the cat. It's about what is the outcome. And so we have a series of proposals that have been made by the CRTC today. They broadly reflect the perspective that we put on the table during the hearings. We're going to continue to review the decision and take a look at those things. And then we'll be making our views clear in our submission to the CRTC. I think it's on the 9th of September.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly will be making our views clear. This is a pretty big ruling, though, and a lot to it. So since you've gone through it, what kind of message is the CRTC sending, in your opinion, about the value of Canadian news, the fact that they're even looking at creating a new framework for all news channels in Canada?
Well, one of the things the CRTC asked for during the proceedings was to have everyone, all the cable providers and satellite providers, give a list of all the different channels they were carrying and that are news services and what they were paying for those. And the CRTC released not the details of those, but the averages. And the average is that U.S. channels are getting more than double the amount of money, U.S. and other foreign news services are getting more than double the money that Canadian channels are. And in many cases are getting much better carriage. So they're stating that that's very much of concern to them, and I think it should be of concern to all Canadians. And so that's certainly something that speaks to the need to have a change in the system.
And just finally, Kory, if this framework does go forward, we do see it implemented, will Sun News be on the same level as CBC, as CTV news channels? How will this change the media environment?
Well, it would be premature to speculate because we have a proceeding that's going to go on. Certainly, a lot of the proposals that have been made are leaning in our direction. But it would be really premature to make a prediction as to what the outcome of that's going to be, because there'll be many people who will have a point of view on this, and it'll be for the CRTC to make a decision.
All right, certainly not the end of the story here. Much more to come. And as you mentioned, a big silver lining here for us at Sun News Network. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great, thank you.
That is Sun News Senior Vice President Kory Teneycke joining us from our Ottawa studio.